Hollywood's golden couple, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, have spent years building their perfect image, but behind the jokes and glamour, an unsettling truth is emerging. Allegations of toxic behavior, stolen work, and behind-the-scenes power moves are starting to crack their carefully crafted facade. Could stars, industry insiders, and even former friends are speaking out? Could this be the downfall of Hollywood's most beloved duo? Stay tuned, because the secrets unraveling now might just change everything. Blake Lively's hidden history of exploitation. Blake Lively has built a reputation as the effortlessly stylish, all-American sweetheart, but beneath that polished image, a disturbing pattern of exploitation has followed her career. While most fans remember her as Gossip Girl's glamorous lead, those who have worked with her have a different story to tell. It all started with Preserve, her now infamous lifestyle brand. On the surface, it was meant to be a competitor to Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, a curated selection of high-end, rustic, and handcrafted items. But there was just one problem. Many of the handmade designs she sold weren't actually hers. Reports surfaced that Blake and her team had allegedly reached out to small designers and independent creators, requesting product samples under fake names. These designers, excited at the opportunity, would send their work, only to find that Blake's site later launched eerily similar versions without crediting them. When Preserve shut down in 2015, Blake blamed bad timing, claiming the site was too ahead of its time, but many believed that the backlash from these accusations played a significant role in its downfall. And the controversy didn't stop there. In 2017, Blake was set to star in CBS Films' The Husband's Secret, but whispers in Hollywood suggested something much darker had taken place behind the scenes. An indie screenwriter claimed that years before, she had submitted a script with strikingly similar elements to the film Blake was now leading. While major outlets ignored the accusations, likely due to the actress's powerful Hollywood connections, many believed it wasn't a coincidence. It didn't help that Blake wasn't just the film's star. She had conveniently attached herself as an executive producer, a title that gave her control over the project. This pattern of taking credit for others' work has followed Blake for years. Whether it's small creators or Hollywood professionals, her rise to success seems to have come at the expense of others. But that was just the beginning. Because once you look back at her Gossip Girl days, an even messier history starts to emerge. The Gossip Girl drama nobody knew about. For years, Gossip Girl fans admired the on-screen chemistry between Blake Lively and her co-stars. But according to those who worked on set, the real drama wasn't just in the script, it was happening behind the cameras, and much of it had to do with Blake's behavior. One of the first victims? Penn Badgley. When Gossip Girl first started filming, Penn was still relatively unknown, and Blake allegedly took it upon herself to make sure he stayed that way. Rumors from production insiders suggest that Blake convinced others on set to ice him out, painting him as difficult and unlikable before he even had a chance to form connections with the rest of the cast. It wasn't until weeks into filming that the others realized Penn was actually a good guy. By then, the damage had already been done. Ironically, Blake later went on to date Penn for 3 years, but once their relationship ended, his career took an unexpected nosedive. Many industry insiders believe that Blake's growing influence in Hollywood played a role in Penn's struggles to find work. And it wasn't just Penn who experienced Blake's manipulative tactics. Her relationship with co-star Leighton Meester, who played Blair Waldorf, was another source of tension. While they acted like best friends on screen, behind the scenes, their dynamic was anything but friendly. Gossip Girl's executive producer Joshua Safran later revealed that while Blake and Leighton were professional, they were never actually friends. This was a stark contrast to the public image of them as co-stars who got along effortlessly. Interviews from the time show subtle hints of tension. Awkward body language, forced smiles, and carefully chosen words that suggested their dynamic was more competitive than cordial. Then, there's Armie Hammer, who made a brief appearance in the series. He subtly hinted that the reason he left the show early had everything to do with Blake. In a later interview, he described Gossip Girl as one of the worst filming experiences of his career. His reason? A certain unnamed actress who made set life unbearable. And given the timeline and his role as Blake's love interest on the show, it wasn't hard to put two and two together. With all this in mind, it's clear that Blake's Hollywood rise wasn't built on talent alone. It was built on careful image management, strategic alliances, and burning bridges when necessary. But if Blake's power plays were bad, Ryan Reynolds' reputation in the industry might be even worse. Ryan Reynolds' Hollywood power struggles. Ryan Reynolds might be known for his quick wit and sarcastic humor, but if you ask the people who've worked with him, the stories paint a much darker picture. It turns out that behind that nice guy image is someone who's obsessed with control, willing to push co-stars, directors, and even entire productions to the breaking point to get his way. Take Deadpool, for example, the movie that skyrocketed Ryan's career to new heights. While fans loved his portrayal of the wisecracking anti-hero, the film's original director Tim Miller had a very different experience. Miller was forced out of the sequel due to creative differences, but insiders claimed that the real reason was Ryan's iron grip on the project. He allegedly wanted full control, dictating every detail from the script to the direction of scenes, leaving Miller with little choice but to walk away. And then there's T.J. Miller, who played Weasel in Deadpool. Unlike Tim, T.J. didn't go quietly. He openly called out Ryan for treating him like garbage on set, describing instances where Ryan would publicly humiliate him in front of the cast and crew. The hostility became so unbearable that TJ vowed never to work with him again. Ryan's alleged toxicity extends beyond Deadpool. When he attempted to reboot Home Alone with a stoner-themed version called Stoned Alone, the industry backlash was brutal. Home Alone's original director, Chris Columbus, called the idea an insult to cinema and slammed Ryan for trying to cash in on nostalgia in the worst way possible. Even legendary filmmaker Quentin Tarantino took a jab at Ryan, saying his Netflix movies are forgettable and don't even exist in pop culture. Despite these setbacks, Ryan has managed to keep his reputation squeaky clean in the public eye. But the cracks are showing, and his history of feuds, fallouts, and ruthless control tactics suggests that Hollywood might be growing tired of him. Conclusion? The beginning of their downfall? For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have carefully crafted their image as Hollywood's most lovable couple. But as more people come forward with their stories, their carefully curated facade is beginning to crumble. The allegations of exploitation, power plays, and behind-the-scenes manipulation are becoming impossible to ignore. While their fans may still cling to the illusion of their picture-perfect relationship, industry insiders know the truth. This power couple's reputation is built on shaky ground, and it's only a matter of time before it all comes crashing down. So the question remains, how much longer can Blake and Ryan keep up the act? Will Hollywood finally turn its back on them, or will they find a way to escape the consequences yet again? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want even more Hollywood drama, check out my deep dive on Blake's toxic Gossip Girl days and Ryan's biggest feuds. Click now and let's keep the conversation going. The Rebecca Ferguson incident. Who was the toxic co-star? Rebecca Ferguson has built a reputation for being a strong, no-nonsense actress who isn't afraid to stand her ground. But in a shocking interview, she revealed that she once had to deal with an absolute nightmare of a co-star, one so toxic that it nearly broke her. She never named the person, but the details she shared were damning. The unnamed actor, who was reportedly the lead in the film, was so insecure about their own performance that they took their frustration out on Rebecca, belittling her in front of the entire crew. This wasn't just mild tension or creative differences. Rebecca described full-on screaming matches, constant humiliation, and psychological games that left her walking off set in tears. She recalled one specific moment when the co-star turned to her in front of everyone and mockingly asked, "You call yourself an actor? This is what I have to work with?" The verbal abuse got so bad that she finally snapped. She stood her ground, looked the actor in the eye, and told them to get the F off my set. For someone as professional as Rebecca, standing up to a lead actor, especially one protected by Hollywood's hierarchy, was a huge risk. When she refused to work with them, the producers intervened, telling her she had no choice but to continue filming with the actor. But Rebecca refused to back down, saying she'd rather act with a tennis ball than deal with them. This level of mistreatment isn't unheard of in Hollywood, but the question remains, who was she talking about? While she clarified that it wasn't Tom Cruise or Hugh Jackman, speculation immediately pointed toward Ryan Reynolds. Given his history of clashing with co-stars, pushing out directors, and taking complete creative control over his projects, many believed the toxic star could easily be him. And considering the number of actors who have distanced themselves from Ryan in recent years, it wouldn't be surprising if Rebecca was one of them. But Ryan isn't the only one whose business moves have raised eyebrows. Because while he steamrolls productions, Blake Lively has been making questionable power plays of her own. The business moves that raised eyebrows. Blake Lively's career may have been built on her acting, but over the years she has inserted herself into business ventures, production deals, and executive roles that have left many people in Hollywood scratching their heads. Unlike Ryan, whose aggressive control over films has been widely reported, Blake's strategic moves tend to fly under the radar. But make no mistake, she knows exactly what she's doing. One of the most controversial moments in her career was her role in The Husband's Secret, where she not only starred in the film, but managed to attach herself as an executive producer. Industry insiders noted that Blake had little experience as a producer, and many speculated that she used her Hollywood connections to strong-arm her way into a higher position. But this wasn't the only time Blake was accused of using her influence in shady ways. Her involvement in small business ventures has also come under fire. After her failed lifestyle brand Preserve, many independent creators came forward, claiming that Blake had used deceptive tactics to acquire designs and ideas. She would allegedly reach out under fake names, express interest in collaborating, and then launch nearly identical products under her own brand without giving credit. Many of these small designers lacked the resources to fight back, and Blake simply walked away from the mess when Preserve shut down. Then there's her feud with Anna Kendrick. During the press tour for A Simple Favor, multiple sources claimed that Blake made working conditions unbearable, constantly trying to outshine Anna and refusing to share the spotlight. While Blake has tried to present herself as an empowered businesswoman, the reality behind the scenes suggests a different story. One of someone who wants power, recognition, and control, even at the expense of others. And this same hunger for control seems to apply to her marriage, because while Blake manipulates things behind the scenes, Ryan Reynolds is out front, running one of Hollywood's most effective PR machines. Blake and Ryan's PR machine and the perfect couple act. There's no denying that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have mastered the art of public relations. Their social media presence is polished, their interviews are charming, and their public interactions are filled with playful banter that makes them seem like the ideal Hollywood couple. But when you look past the carefully curated Instagram posts and late-night show appearances, a much more calculated reality emerges. Blake and Ryan have crafted an image of themselves as down-to-earth, relatable, and effortlessly funny, but insiders suggest that every move they make is deliberate. Unlike other celebrity couples who keep their personal lives private, Blake and Ryan have leaned into their relationship as part of their brand. Every anniversary post, every funny birthday message, and every staged red carpet moment is designed to strengthen their public appeal. And it's working, at least for now. Their perfect couple act has shielded them from serious scrutiny. Whenever negative press starts to surface, it's quickly drowned out by yet another viral post of Ryan making a joke about Blake or vice versa. But as more industry insiders come forward with stories about their manipulative behavior, their PR armor is starting to crack. Fans are beginning to see through the act, and the backlash is growing. Blake's Instagram following, which once seemed untouchable, has started to drop. People who once adored their relationship are now questioning whether they've been fooled by a carefully orchestrated illusion. And with Hollywood insiders no longer afraid to speak out, the question isn't whether their image will collapse, it's when. Because once the PR curtain falls, all that's left is the truth. And the truth is, their downfall may have already begun. The fallout, are Blake and Ryan finally being exposed? For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have controlled the narrative, using their PR skills to maintain an untouchable image. But no amount of well-crafted Instagram posts can erase the growing number of allegations against them. From co-stars who refuse to work with them, to small creators accusing them of exploitation, the cracks in their empire are impossible to ignore. Blake's attempt to rebrand herself as a business mogul has been overshadowed by accusations of stolen work and manipulative tactics. Ryan's once-beloved Deadpool persona is now being questioned as directors and actors continue to expose his behind-the-scenes behavior. Hollywood is no longer blindly accepting their curated image, and their influence is slipping. But the real question is, what happens next? Will more people come forward with stories? Will Hollywood distance itself from them? Or will Blake and Ryan manage to navigate their way out of this like they always have? Either way, one thing is clear. The truth about Hollywood's perfect couple is finally coming to light. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are these just exaggerated rumors, or are we finally seeing the real Blake and Ryan? And if you want more Hollywood deep dives, check out my video on the scandals that nearly ended Gossip Girl and why Anna Kendrick had to end her feud with Blake. Click now, and let's keep the conversation going.